All right, I have unfortunate news, and that is that somebody who's been a part of the online tool community for years is no longer with us. And his name is Justin Dao. And if you never saw his videos, I'm sorry, his channel is still up. You can go and check it out. He was at 41,000, almost 42,000 subscribers, and he'd been slowly growing and grinding over the years. And he was a veteran, a husband, a father, a divorcee. He had children that were his own. He had children that weren't his that he treated like his own. He was just generally a good guy. And the fact that he's no longer with us saddens me deeply. Worse yet, it's what happened to him that is even worse. And I want to talk some about that. But before I get too deep into it, I do want to mention that there is a GoFundMe for his last, wishes, as it were. And you can go check it out. I did not set up the GoFundMe. Excuse me, I'm not controlling any of the funds. I have nothing to do with it. I've donated. They're really close to getting to their goal, 5.5 thousand. They're at almost 5,200. If you've got a couple bucks to spare, his family could really use it. All right, he wasn't a wealthy man. He was a blue collar guy just trying to get by, and I think that really tells the whole story of his life. That's who he was. He was somebody who, when I spoke with him, always seemed happiest when he was talking about his family and his kids, and that's where his real joy came from. He was a mechanic. He struggled. I mean, and if you know anybody in the mechanical fields, you know what it's like. You know what it's like in any of the blue collar stuff, especially when you're trying to get established and become successful. There's ups and downs, and there's times where we trip and fall down and fail and have to get up and start our lives all over again practically. I've been there. Trust me. A lot of people see me now in my late 50s going, oh, look, it's so easy for you and blah, blah, blah. No, brother, I had dark years. And I know exactly the kind of stuff that he went through. And it's not easy. And it was truly sad to see what happened to him. Um, But I do want to tell a story real quick that kind of characterizes the kind of person he was. I'm just gonna say, I never met him personally. We had so many plans, so many times like, oh, we're gonna meet up for this, and we're gonna meet up at this, and we didn't live that far apart. He was in Southern California, in the what do they call that, the high country, the high desert, or whatever, and I was just down the road in Vegas, and somehow we never did manage to meet, but we spoke on the phone for hours and hours at a time. Of course, jumped on each other's live streams and stuff like that. But it was, it was, when I started YouTube, I started it as a hobby. I already had another career. I was doing everything, and I got burned out doing that, and I decided to focus on YouTube. And I was growing my channel, and back then, and I don't, hopefully it's changed now. And I've always tried to help other creators, and anybody, who's dealt with me, who's been a creator, knows that I've always been very supportive of anybody who wants to get started. I think anybody, honestly, everyone should probably start a YouTube channel. If you're already doing the work, it doesn't take much more to start, filming it and putting it online and building a community and maybe making a few extra bucks while you're at it. And but there was this really toxic culture in the tool community online. A lot of creators from 5,000 to 10,000, 20,000, even 30,000 subscribers would get really nasty towards any other channel that tried to grow and dare surpass them. I was even contacted by like the Tool Mafia, who said that if I didn't join them and their cadre of channels, that they would they would cancel my channel. That they would turn all their subscribers against me, and I'd get ruined on YouTube. And I generally just tried to ignore these people as much as possible. It was weird. But then there was Justin Dao, and apparently he knew a lot of these people. He'd come up with them. You know, they'd all kind of started before me, and Justin basically told me, "Hey, look, don't listen to these people. He's like, they're just not nice folks." And he supported me as I was growing, and I tried to support him, and we became, online and on the phone friends, and talked about a lot of stuff. And I got to talk to him through some of the good things in his life, some of the not good things in his life, the moments where he struggled. He was at this one independent mechanic, and then he left there and he got a job with a dealership, and that was going great. But then he lost that job, and then he tried to get out of the whole mechanic field and tried to become a bartender and stuff like that. Of course, that didn't pay the bills, and went back to becoming a mechanic. And I just got to see this guy struggle so hard. And yet, every time I talked to him, he always tried to have, you could hear the smile in his voice. And it was this past couple years kind of watching it not work out for him, and it getting harder and harder and harder, relationships not working out, and how much it hurt him when those relationships didn't go the way he wanted. Because I think at the end of the day, I think he just wanted to be a simple guy who, worked, made some money, and supported his family. And I think that's all he really wanted. And yeah. Anyway, my heart goes out to his family. There's been a lot of loss this year. And this one really hit home for me. And it took me, I've been trying to process this because it wasn't like, a lot of these other situations, or, when you lose a family member or something, a lot of times you see it coming, or this was, this was somebody who, and unfortunately, it's very similar to a lot of the people I grew up with. So many of the people I grew up with are no longer with us and had gone down similar paths. And so I've seen a lot of this, and I did not expect to see it again. And it really hurts to see this. So if you can, if you have a moment, I'll put a link down to the GoFundMe. Again, I don't have anything to do with it. It's for his family and for his children. 5 children without a father. And that right there is the worst thing that I can think of. So, I don't know. I could probably ramble on and on and on again. If you got any questions or comments, put it down below. And Justin, brother, go with Jesus and shine on.